And number 14. The Vanderbilt.
Vandy at 14.
Might be one of those teams that's experiencing a ceiling right now. They lost on the road at Alabama.
Wait. Ooh.
There is Miami.
Ooh, Miami at 13.
Closer to maybe this head-to-head.
What's going on, Canes fans? That's right. The newest CFP rankings are in, the top 25. And that was me watching the reveal live on ESPN when they showed Miami. And we're not going to beat around the bush. We're not going to start at 25 and work our way up. Bam. We just want to look at this thing as a whole. And of course, my focus is on the Canes, who go from 15 to 13, leapfrogging Vanderbilt, who was coming off of a bye week. They had that OT win against Auburn, then they had the bye. Miami gets the convincing win against NC State, which is exactly what they needed. You want style points, complete domination, and Miami delivered. Now, we do know, however, this is 13, so, Miami on the outside here, they still have a ton of work to do. I just kind of want to take a quick look at this thing and just kind of get some overall thoughts from the community, from the viewers, from you guys, from the fans, and see what everybody thinks. See if you believe that they screwed up anywhere. A big talking point with this one was, massive changes here from like 20 to 25-ish, with a lot of teams losing and pumping some new teams in here. Tulane, you got Arizona State in there at 25. But man, Miami at 13, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. The big debate, like, I don't want to sit here and seem like I'm I'm trying to pump a bunch of hope in here when it's not really there. They were very upfront about saying, like, we'll jump over in here and take a look at where they were showing the bracket, right? And they say, hey, this is a placeholder, basically talking about ACC champion, where Miami is there. They would need an at-large bid, like we know this. But the key here is for Miami to continue to climb. There are some other teams in front of the Canes in the top, 12 there that could potentially lose. Miami keeps winning in a dominant way. They need style points. They need to win big against Virginia Tech, get a big W against Pitt, and then we'll see what happens. We all know that it's Miami's fault that they lost to Louisville and that they lost to SMU. Like, I get it. We obviously know that. But I'm still praying that Miami can find a way to sneak in there, because I believe that they can hang with any of the teams that you see here. I honestly do. And I made a whole walking and venting about this, and then we're going to get back and discuss some Notre Dame and some of these other teams on here. I got a lot of hate on my walking and venting because people said, Coop, you made a whole video talking about saying you think Miami could hang with any team, literally any team in the playoffs. But yet a couple of weeks ago, you were saying Miami doesn't deserve a spot because they lost to SMU. I stand by what I said in that moment, because you got to be able to win these games. And when you're an 11.5 point favorite or a 14.5 point favorite like you were against Louisville, you got to find a way to win those. And if Miami played like they did in those games, they didn't deserve a spot in the playoffs. They would not do well. However, you got to understand that Miami is picking up a little bit of steam here on the tail end of the season. I really like the way that the defense is playing. Dawson, with his play calling, has improved a bit. He's opened things up a little bit. It's a little more fun, a little more creative. So I do firmly believe that Miami could hang with any of these teams. Notice I didn't say I think that they will win. I'm not saying they'll win a national championship. I'm just saying that they can absolutely hang. Anyways, after the little rant there, man, Notre Dame at 9. Where were they at last week? 9? I think they were at 9. I think they were in the same spot, so they remain the same there. The huge debate is the head-to-head. Do you think that Notre Dame should be ahead of Miami? It's tough, right? Because we lost 2 games to not so good teams, Louisville and SMU. Their losses are to us in a close game against the Aggies, who are currently at number 3. Our game head-to-head against them was early in the season, but obviously that should not change things. The Week 1 game should matter just as much as the Week 10 games. It's still a game that was played, because otherwise, if it doesn't matter, what's the point in playing them at all? We both played NC State, and we beat NC State by more. Not a whole lot more, but we did beat them by more. We know what the final score to Miami-Syracuse was. We have Pitt coming up next week after this Virginia Tech game. Notre Dame has to play both of those teams. So we beat them, plus we play 3 other common opponents here. So let's see what their final scores end up being. And maybe they slip up somewhere, right? Now, before I continue the rant here, I got to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Sleeper, the #1 sports app. Absolutely love that app. I don't know why you've not put it on your phone yet. It's my go-to sports app for the latest news, live updates for the scores, and my favorite part, the picks contest, where you can turn your sports knowledge into real money by picking more or less on player stats. It's a ton of fun. Make sure that you check them out. The top link in the description, use code word COOP. That way you activate a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $100, and you get $20 for free to try those picks contest for yourself. Again, shout out to Sleeper. Love the app. I really think that you will love it too. Check them out. Back to this top 25 talk. It hurts really in a way that Oklahoma did get Bama, because that Bama is still right there in the top 10. So that pushes them to 10 and keeps Oklahoma at 8. We need some room here ahead of Miami. We need some spots to open up. I will say this. Other than there being some questions about the whole Notre Dame thing, I know that they're playing some of their best football right now and stuff. Miami being at 13 does make sense. I'm not going to lie, bro. It pains me to see Utah at 12 and BYU at 11. But again, we got to point the finger at ourselves. Miami should be undefeated right now. But you do have 2 close losses. 1 by 3, 1 by 6. The teams way up front, you can't really argue, right? Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2. The Aggies survived. They come back big. It looked like they were about to get their booties whooped by South Carolina, and they had that offensive explosion in the third quarter. Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss is playing kind of lights out right now. Oregon, Oklahoma beat Bama. There's not much I can say, but Miami just has to obviously put their heads down and continue to win in a big way. You can't go to Blacksburg and beat Virginia Tech by 6, because again, we need that at-large bid, because we know, it's going to be interesting because you have Georgia Tech at 16. So we're talking about the highest ranked conference champions. Well, Georgia Tech is a ranked ACC team, and they're probably going to win the rest of their games. If they go to the ACC championship and win, then they would end up being in. You know what? I'm talking myself in circles here. It comes down to Miami. It comes down to Miami winning big in these final 2 games. We need some luck. Still need a lot of help. I just don't want people to look at this and completely overreact and say, okay, boom, look, we're in, because it's just not quite that simple. It's not. But Miami jumping up 2 spots, my honest, real prediction was Miami at 14. I didn't expect them to jump Miami up 2 spots from 15 to 13. So I'm kind of pleasantly surprised, all things considered. Every time I look at that Notre Dame logo, I flip at the bird. But let us run it again. You know what I'm saying? I know that's not how it works, and that's not a possibility. But let us run it again. Let's run back Miami Notre Dame. But then at the same time, that gives them what they want, right? We already beat y'all. It doesn't. I always hate when people say, "Well, we would beat you now." That's loser talk. We already played you, and we beat you. So I don't want to hear nothing about, well, let's run it back. We'll play it again. we already beat you. You should have been ready then. You got to be ready to play every game. Week 1, week 6, week 10, week 12. You got to be ready to play those games every week. We were ready to go week 1. We don't care that you had a young quarterback. We had a quarterback in a new offense for him. Yeah, he's a veteran, but then yet people turned around and clowned him and said he's trash. You know? Notre Dame lost to that team. I hate to do this. Really, I do. It pains me, and I might cut this out of the video. Notre Dame lost to the team that lost to Louisville and SMU. All I know is maybe. I'm praying because, look, I don't want Miami's season to be over. And I think that they can get up for the big games. As a matter of fact, I know they can get up for the big games. And they absolutely would have a shot at making it a game, at hanging with these teams, if they could find themselves in the playoffs, if they could sneak in. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.